The Board of Appeals hearing on November 2nd, 2023 is now in order. Before we get started, we'll be taking roll call. Let's start at the left, work across.
Richard Waiter, present.
Jeff Carhart, present.
Bill Putland, present.
Philip Powell, present.
You must all use microphones.
Our microphone's on.
You want to run through it again?
Go ahead, do it again.
Richard Waiter, present.
Jeff Carhart, present.
Bill Putland, present.
Philip Powell, present.
You all will be docked pay for that. The purpose of our hearing tonight is a request for a conditional use and accessory dwelling in-law suite. This is case number 537. At this time, anyone wishing to speak at this meeting, please stand for the oath. Please raise your right hand. Do you hereby solemnly declare or affirm under penalties of perjury that the responses given and statement made will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please sit down. The codified zoning ordinances of the mayor and city council for the city of Havre specify procedures governing the operation of the Board of Appeals of the city. Section 3 dictates administrative requirements to be met prior to the hearing. This includes advertising, posting the property, and notification of applicable property owners. Have these requirements been met?
Yes.
Have you heard from any interested parties?
No, not regarding case 537.
Okay, thank you. The ordinances governing the operation of the Board of Appeals for the city is a matter of public records and is available at City Hall should anyone wish to review it. The applicant tonight, again, is requesting a conditional use. First, we will hear from the Department of Planning. Please, before you speak, state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Eric Lawrence with the City of Havre de Grace, 711 Pennington Avenue. I'm the Associate City Planner. Okay.
Do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I'm going to be presenting that on 317 Sunny Halo Drive.
Okay, you can present that.
Okay, thank you. Hello, thank you everyone for coming today. Today we have a application requesting a conditional use for an accessory dwelling unit. I can't read that. So the applicant is here to request a conditional use approval within a residential zoning district to allow for an accessory dwelling unit or an ADU or an in-law suite that is attached to the existing house. That is for the proposed house. The proposed ADU for a single-family dwelling in Bully Rock is currently listed as a conditional use per 205-15B within the R zoning district. The applicant will need to show the request meets the findings under Chapter 2517B and adheres to Chapter 205-9H for ADU regulations. So first off, we're going to start with what is an ADU. Under definition 205-9H, an ADU is a smaller independent residential dwelling unit on the same lot as a single-family home and can be internal, attached, and detached. This specific one on 317 Sunny Halo Drive is an attached ADU on the proposed single-family detached housing within the Bully Rock Estates. So we're going to look at section 205-9H and look at how we address the ADUs. So first is ADU is allowed as a conditional use. It's permitted with the Boards of Appeal approval, and it's, I can't read that. I can't read that. Thank you. So First, out of all the requests or the requirements that are supposed to be met, one of them is the owner must occupy one of the dwellings, which is they have stated that they will be. One of the off-street parking spaces is required for the ADU. They said they will be providing one off-street parking space within the site. There will be no separate address provided for the ADU, and the attached ADU cannot exceed 1,200 square feet. We can go into the additional square feet of that at the second slide. And the lot type, height, setback, and coverage all must be adhered to within the existing lot. And an ADU cannot be subdivided from the main property, and the ADU is subject to separate capital costs and recovery fees. Other conditions are applied as the board sees fit. So the site plan that you were presented with is for 317 Sunny Halo Drive, which is attachment 1, and 2, and 3. We'll go over the minimum lot coverage, which is 5,000 square feet. We're at about 10,925 square feet. So we're good on that side of it, which would mean that we're about 35% square foot coverage. The maximum allowed in that lot is 40% with that zoning district. They have to meet the setbacks, which are 5 foot, 15 foot from the front, 25 feet from the rear, and the maximum height would be 4 stories, but this will be under 2. And then, as I stated, the one parking spot would be provided on site. The parking spot is provided here in front on the proposed driveway. The ADU will be on the left side. The ADU is approximately 989 square feet. This right here. This is an architectural plan for 317 Sunny Halo Drive, attachment 3 and 4. The single-family dwellings are consistent with the character in the neighborhood. It's not out of place. It's pretty cohesive what's already being proposed within that along that 317 Sunny Halo Drive address. The proposed ADU meets the lot requirements regarding the setback, side, front, rear, and it's subject to capital cost recovery fees because it will be including a kitchen and bathroom and an additional, bedroom. So a special exemption is what we refer to a conditional use as under 2517B. A full report is available online and to the public that goes over all 10 of the findings that are required. I'm going to be highlighting a few that are more pertinent. Item number 2, which is the requested ADU should not have a detrimental impact on the neighborhood where Sunny Halo Drive as a proposed use is consistent with the surrounding residential neighborhood. The proposed ADU will be consistent. Item number 4, question. The proposed ADU will be consistent with the general character of the neighborhood and we're providing one parking space on site. Question number 5 would be, it is consistent with the 2023 draft comprehensive plan that is currently in progress for allowing ADU and housing. And question number 7 would be adequately served by existing city services, including fire, police, water, sewer. And number 8, question 8, would be no adverse environmental or sensitive areas are impacted within this lot. And number 10 is the petitioner has demonstrated a need for this particular ADU use by saying that it would be used for immediate family. Overall, the Department of Planning finds that the requested use satisfies the findings that we are required, and we recommend approval for the ADU with several conditions. One would be that the ADU is subject to capital cost recovery fees in the current amount of $18,500. The ADU shall provide at least one off-street parking space, which stated that they will be providing, and the applicant shall obtain all applicable permits and inspections for the new single attached dwelling. And the conditional use for the ADU is limited to the property owner, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank
Are there
you.
any questions at this time?
Questions?
One, it seems pretty self-evident, but I want to make sure, construction of this home is not started.
What's that?
As it does seem that it's evident with the report, but confirm the construction has not started.
Yes, it has.
It has started.
Yes, it has.
Yes, according to the developer.
The requirement is the house is allowed to be constructed exactly as it is, but to put a kitchen sink in for the mother-in-law, that's when this ADU is required. When
Okay.
it's fully independent.
Is it a finished home or, okay,
Yep. I'm sorry, you're not mic'd, so you'll have to, yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry. The house is under construction, and it's allowed to be constructed with the in-law suite the way it is. But if it is fully independent, meaning a separate kitchen and bath and everything, then this appeal is required. So we need this in order to put the kitchen sink in for the mother-in-law.
okay. And the only other thing, and Clark, you probably know this one too, is the HOA there cool with that? That it really is relevant to us, but is the HOA cool with that?
Actually, the HOA is okay with this. Bully Rock, I don't know if you remember, has a history of these. There's a whole section done back some years ago where there was a whole group of in-law suites. We've done other ones ourselves, but this law didn't pass till I think November or December. So this is the first one we're coming in with for an appeal.
Okay, copy that. Thank you. No further.
Other questions? Questions? No? Okay, thank you. Now, we will hear from the applicant or their representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Clark Turner at 508 Commerce Street, Havre de Grace, Maryland, and I'm here for Trademark Homes, who is building this home. I had a presentation to kind of make, but Eric did such a good job describing everything. I was basically going to say that we meet the requirements of the height, we meet the requirement of the parking, we meet the requirement of what's in here, but he went over that. So the only thing he didn't say is it's required to have a door that doesn't face the street. So I brought a plan to show you how the door coming into this unit goes in from the side of this porch. And other than that, I think he covered everything else, so I'm willing to answer any question that you may have.
Questions? Mr. Turner? No? Okay,
I
thank you.
will say, one of the things that we have found is, since the pandemic, there has been a reluctance to put parents in nursing homes and assisted livings. And we have seen an uptick in requests that we have had where the parents can live with the children, and that's the case here.
Okay,
So thank you very much.
all right, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in reference to this case that's been sworn in? Okay, the time is now 6:45. The board will adjourn to discuss the case. The time is now 6:47, and the board has come back with a recommendation. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend approval based upon the staff report by the City of Havre de Grace, with the exception of striking number 4, which is the conditional use approval for the ADU is limited to the applicant and will expire upon the sale of the home. My belief is that that should remain in play. So I'd like to strike number 4. That's my motion.
Do we have a second?
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. The request has been approved. This hearing's,
Eric,
for your
Eric.
request is over.
Eric,
Okay.
I'll just read the staff report.
Okay, yes, did you get that we're going to strike number 4?
You're gonna
Condition 4?
strike condition 4.
Yeah, okay.
Mark, do you understand why we did that? We thought that we struck number 4 because we feel that should remain an integral part of the house. If they do sell it at a future date, we don't want the next owner to come in and say, you hang the kitchen sink, basically. Right? And that, otherwise, the new purchase, if he sells this house in 5 or 10 years, the new owner would have to come back before the Board of Appeals, request another appeal, right?
Yeah, that would have to
Put a
happen.
sink back in.
I don't know. I don't know from a legal standpoint if conditional uses can run with the land. So we generally have this in there because sort of as a reminder. So even though it's not a condition, I'm not sure legally if it can run with the property. I think it automatically expires with the owner anyway. So this might be
Okay.
redundant, but this is something I would need to check with April about.
Yeah, if you would. Yeah, that may be a mute issue, but anyway, we,
It has to be legally in there.
okay, thank you. All right.
I'll just go with this. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't really get it, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, we're ready for the next case whenever you guys are.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm sorry. Phil was looking at me. I was just letting you guys know we're ready whenever you are for the next
Okay.
case.
All right. The time is now 6:50. The Board of Appeals hearing on November 2nd, 2023, is now in session for case number 538, which is a request for a conditional use and a variance for an auto repair in a RB district. Let's see here. Let me change my glasses again. Please. At this time, anyone wishing to speak at the meeting in reference to this case, please stand for the oath. Raise your right hand. Do you hereby solemnly declare and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses given and statements made will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please be seated. Codified zoning ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace specifies procedures governing the operation of the Board of Appeals of the city. Section 3 dictates administrative requirements to be met prior to the hearing. This includes advertising, posting the property, and notification of applicable property owners. Have these requirements been met?
They have.
Thank you. Have you heard from interested parties in response?
I have not.
Okay, thank you. The ordinances governing the operation of the Board of Appeals for the city is a matter of public records and is available at City Hall should anyone wish to review it. The applicant tonight is requesting a conditional use and a variance. At this time, we will hear from the Department of Planning.
Tim Borsier, Director of Planning, 711 Pennington Avenue. with my information, I don't see anything for a variance. Just a conditional use request.
Oh, well,
But I may be incorrect. There maybe was a variance that was required at some point, or we thought in the application.
uh-huh.
Hold on, let me check.
My agenda did have that listed. Is it not needed?
No, I don't believe a variance is needed.
Okay. Stand to be corrected. This hearing is just for a conditional use. I know I did. Okay, thank you.
She didn't mention anything when I gave her my staff report.
Yes.
We'll skip
all
it. Actually, could you just give us 1 second?
Sure.
Just need to look up a definition, sorry.
You have the reference number, Tim? Okay.
Yeah, I do. I was just looking, for some reason, I was just trying to figure out why the variance was written in there. Okay, so I wasn't made aware of the variance request until just now. I'd sent this around to staff, and it was just for the conditional use, and I didn't get anything back, but I also didn't read the staff report enough, and I'm a little bit confused, but as I do read the definition under the zoning code, it says auto repairs, minimum building size of 10,000 square feet, and on a property or a lot that's not within the Chesapeake Bay critical area. This property is, the building sizes are under 10,000 square feet, and it is in the critical area. And I wasn't aware of this definition. I hadn't looked at it before I went forward. So all I really am prepared for today is the conditional use, unfortunately. I'm not sure what they would need a variance from. It sounds like that I'm not sure if there's another definition that this falls over, but I would need more time to research that. We could go with the variance today, but I didn't analyze it in the staff report. I would sort of need to do it on the fly, if that's okay with all of you.
I think that'll be fine. And, how will we, okay, so you want to go with the conditional use,
Well, the conditional use, yeah, I mean, that's all completed.
right?
Yeah, for a variance, there's another set of findings that require a show of a hardship. And so we could discuss what those were, and I could provide that information. Now, I'm familiar enough with the case and the site to be able to go forward with the variance information. I just don't have it in a written staff report.
Okay. All right, so then we'll be asking you for, your opinion.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I apologize
Yes.
for that. Yeah, I completely missed that, and I didn't hear anything back from that. So, this wouldn't be a variance in. This would be a variance in the sense of it's new construction, as it's listed under the code, under the findings for 2517C. where it talks about hardship and exceptional circumstances and those sort of things. It's a use variance.
Okay.
So it's a bit different. So the site, and I'll just read a little history about the site. This used to be Wilhelm Automotive, and after Wilhelm had left, they've had a boat repair place at that site. So the type of work there, although, and we'll discuss, we'll have the applicant discuss a little bit further in their testimony, the specific activities that'll be going on there. From a use perspective, the building was used as an auto repair place, as a boat service place, even though it's in the critical bay, the Chesapeake Bay critical area. We did review the Chesapeake Bay critical area as part of the conditional use request, and there's nothing in our law for critical area that doesn't allow auto repair shops. So for critical area law, there's generally 3 designations. So there's intensely developed area, and that is the designation within the entire city. And then on the outside, we have, it's RCA, but it's a reserved area. Really, you can't do anything there. And then there's limited development area, which we don't have anywhere in the city. That's stuff that you see in like Anne Arundel County, where they're kind of doing trade-offs with developments and different things. We don't have that here. So in our intensely developed area, and it's based on state law, we can become more restrictive, but we can't be more lenient. We don't have any restrictions for auto repair. So that definition is specifically a local thing that defines it that way. But as all of you know, this has been an auto repair shop previously, and even though it's less than the 10,000 square foot requirement under that definition, and it's also in the Chesapeake Bay critical area, but the building's always been there. So I think based on that, when we look at the 10 findings for the conditional use, if they're able to meet those 10 findings, I think it would also make sense that they could also receive a use variance, since that's what the building was used for previously, and that the actual Chesapeake Bay critical area law doesn't prohibit this use.
Okay.
So we had a little glitch with our presentation, but I have a staff report I sent all of you, so I'll just go through this real quick. The applicant's requesting conditional use approval and a use variance for an auto repair establishment in the RB zoning district. It's located at 843 North Juniata Street. There's 3 buildings on site. One is the kind of the office building, I think you'll see. There's an area with bays, and then in the rear there's a residence. As Appendix 3, I believe, there's an aerial photo that labels all 3 of those buildings. So yeah, as I said before, it was previously Wilhelm Automotive and most recently a boat repair shop. The zoning is RB, so everything around it is mostly RB, except to the west there's a bit of R2 residential, but the way that the property is set up and the way that everything and how there's commercial uses and residential uses, it's very similar to the rest of what you see in a lot of downtown Havre de Grace outside of St. John and Washington, where the mixed uses are in one building. You kind of see a mix of uses throughout that neighborhood. There was a change in the ordinance in 2014 that required conditional use approval for auto repairs, but until that time, there was no conditional use required for this specific use. And previous to that definition, the place served as an auto repair place. So there was a period of time where it was no longer auto repair, which is why they have to come back in for the conditional use approval. And they didn't technically get grandfathered in, but that is that situation. So under 205-27Z, it requires conditional use. It's in the IDAA, the intensely developed area, the Chesapeake Bay critical area covered by Chapter 49. And we look at the 10 findings under 2517B. It meets all of the findings. The one thing I mentioned is that under finding 3, will not be detrimental to the use, peaceful enjoyment, economic value, or development of surrounding properties or the general neighborhood, and will cause no objectionable noise, vibration, fumes, odors, dust, and toxicity. Number 4 will be in harmony with the general character of the neighborhood, considering population density, design, scale, and bulk of any proposed new structure or conversion of existing structures, as well as the intensity and character of activity, traffic, and parking conditions of similar uses, and will not adversely affect the health, safety, security, morals, or general welfare of residents, visitors, or workers in the area. Auto repair is such a big category of what it could be. We weren't exactly sure what the applicant was planning to do there, so we just wanted to have them provide testimony to make sure that they meet those three findings, 3, 4, and 6. So based on their testimony on what will occur there, we could always add additional conditions to make sure that those findings are met. So just in final, we recommend that the applicant and co-applicant provide detailed information and testimony concerning the nature of auto repairs at this location. Further information is required in order to show the proposed use meets the requirements under findings 3, 4, and 6. We recommend approval if all findings are met after their testimony, the conditional use for auto repair. So we're just recommending that, one, based on the intensity of the proposed use and any proposed renovations, that a fixture account should occur prior to them making any modifications. That's just to determine if there's increased impacts of water and sewer. Applicant shall meet all potential conditions established by Board of Appeals, whatever else we come up with here today. Prior to purchasing any materials, the applicant should discuss any exterior changes to the building, including signage, with the Department of Planning and the City's Historic Preservation Commission to best ensure proposed changes are in harmony with the surrounding neighborhood. Conditional use approval shall only be valid for the current owner and lessee. This is because even if another person comes in to open an auto repair shop, they should also have to come in and state what activities will be going on there to make sure all the findings are properly met. Applicant shall obtain all applicable permits and inspections for any renovations, and all proper fees must be paid prior to issuance of use and occupancy. That is it. I'll take any questions.
Questions? None? I think we're good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we will hear from the applicant or his representative.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Please state your name and address.
Adam Britton, 406 Priestford Road, Churchville, Maryland. I'm the owner of Freestyle Fabrication Off-Road that's looking to move into this position. So as far as the intensity, we are not a regular shop where most normal shops like Firestone and such require large car counts. We're not. We're a specialty shop. We deal with restorations and specialty fabrications, lift kits and stuff like that. Our car counts are vastly different than a normal shop that deals with your typical oil changes and such.
Okay. How many cars do you do, annually or by month?
Excuse me. Typically right now, we deal with 3 to 5 cars a week.
Okay.
So maybe 20 a month.
Okay. All right. Other questions? Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak at the hearing tonight?
Good evening. My name is Randy Barnes. I reside at 834 North Juniata Street. I've been living in that area for quite some time. I have no problem with the business aspect of it. The only concern I have is what is the requirements as far as parking. That's my major concern. Also on that north side where my mom's house is my house now, is on that corner from coming down 155. It's a yellow curb all the way up, so you can't really park any cars there. So that's my only concern, is being a resident at that location.
Okay. Thank you.
I can provide the gentleman with a parking plan that was provided by the applicant. Under city rules for the auto repair shop itself, excluding bathrooms and all that sort of stuff, there's 1 car required for every 300 square feet. So in the bays, they can hold 5 cars. and then another 7 cars on site. That still leaves 4 for the 2 residential units in the duplex. So they do meet the code requirements. That doesn't mean that conditions couldn't be placed on parking out in the street and that sort of thing. I know the applicant just testified that they do about 3 to 5 cars a week, but in case that increases or there's some kind of, turnover, 1 car kind of goes out of the garage and they're waiting, the Board of Appeals should feel comfortable with restricting any sort of on-street parking as they feel necessary.
Okay, thank you. Questions, parking questions for Tim? Anything? No? Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak? All right, it is 7:08. The board will recess and discuss this case. The time's 7:10. The board is back in order. Do we have a motion?
A motion that we approve this particular case based on the staff report and the recommendations from the Department of Planning.
Second.
Second. All in favor of accepting the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Being it's a unanimous decision, the request has been approved. We wish you good luck. Case is closed. Okay. Thank you. All right.